This episode is brought to you by Airlink, high-speed internet technology that you deserve.
You guys want ASMR of me drinking this milkshake?
God, I hate you.
Would you like some more brain rot slop to consume instead of real news? Delicious. Good morning, Vietnam! Breaking news. Also, at Henry's Hometown Ice Cream, we have got these new straws. Completely changes the shake drinking experience. We should have done this years ago. Completely changes the experience. And the bottom of this thing is so sharp that you could keep it as a self-defense weapon. Welcome to the weekly Fayette news. We're reading the Fayette Advertiser, Howard County's news leader since 1840. It would have been cool if it made it to 2040, which it still might. I haven't heard if he's put it up publicly for sale yet. But here we go. This week's newspaper is so interesting. We have tree stumps on the front page. I'm nervous to even talk about this because I don't want to derail it, but it's on the headline of the Fayette Advertiser. Do not drink a full chocolate shake before having to do a presentation. That's just a pro tip. Okay. Anyway, Church Street sidewalk project moves ahead. The construction is planned for the summer of 2026. Several trees were cut down. You may have noticed if you've driven up Church Street. You may have noticed that you can see the beautiful campus even clearer now. It's so pretty. We're still slowly moving forward with the MoDOT on the $500K grant we received for the sidewalk replacement project, said Julie Sherman. And let's see here. The MoDOT TAP grant will fund 80% of the estimated $548,000. The plan is to rebuild the sidewalk to ADA standards along the campus western border at zero cost to the city. And in the future, the university hopes to improve parking along Church Street. And currently, the parking is a messy situation. If you've ever parked on Church Street, first of all, you have to know how to parallel park or get there by like 5 a.m. And even then, you kind of have to decide if you want to destroy your tire or how you want to straddle that curb. So very excited to see that. The council passes a moratorium on cat trapping. We reported this last week, but it's in the paper now that the cat trapping, you can't do it. You can't do it anymore.
Cats 1, dog 0.
Cats 1, dog 0, babies in the womb 0. The Fayette City Council last week placed a moratorium on trapping cats after multiple complaints were made about a man on Lynn Street capturing the animals and dumping them elsewhere in the county. The moratorium comes with a $250 fine and will remain in effect until the city's ordinance can be changed to include animal trapping. I hope this doesn't prevent me from trapping a raccoon.
Who's gonna enforce this? The
man in question, Alan Frederick Houston. They full named this guy, age 60. Why his age is relevant? Awesome. Is already facing one charge of animal neglect or abandonment, a Class C misdemeanor, after he was found dumping a cat near the intersection of highways 240 and 40. Houston apparently admitted to trapping and dumping cats from his neighborhood, according to a probable cause statement filed by the Howard County Sheriff's Department. Why is the Sheriff Department handling this? Why is this not the city of Fayette? Whatever. I don't care. I shouldn't. I should. I don't know. Short? Shalt? Anyway, Houston stated that he used a live trap to capture the cats, release them. He did not indicate that he had ownership of the cats or permission to relocate them. And he did not make provisions to ensure adequate care, food, water, shelter, or supervision upon release, the statement said. So if he would have trapped these cats with permission and provided food, water, shelter, adequate care, it would have been okay. He is scheduled for court on Tuesday, April 21st. So anybody want to go to court?
It sounds like if they asked him if he did it, he's like, yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I did it.
I'm glad he didn't lawyer up with some big old defense attorney and be like, I'm going to put the screws to him. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just going to add allegedly to everything I say so that I don't get, doxxed. That's not the term. So I don't get canceled. I don't know. Getting canceled. So 2022. I mean, what are we talking about? Candidate forum on March 26th. We talked about this in our podcast with Brandon Abbott, but the candidates for Fayette Mayor, City Marshal will answer questions. This episode is brought to you by Airlink. Airlink. Since 2011, Airlink Broadband of Salisbury has been powering homes and businesses around here with fast and dependable internet. The goal of Airlink here is to bring you and our communities the kind of internet service that makes your life easier, smoother, and makes your life more enjoyable. Curious if Airlink is available to you? Head on over to getairlink.com. That's getairlink.com. Or head over to the Airlink Facebook page that we'll link below. Airlink Broadband, great quality, local service, future facing. Let them prove it to you today. A public candidate forum is going to be held the next Thursday, March 26th at 7 p.m. It's sponsored by the Golden Study Club, and it'll be moderated by Justin Addison. That's cool.
7 p.m. you said?
7 p.m., March 26th. And let's see, who's going to be there? Mayor Greg Stidham, write-in challenger Brian Kaminsky, right on, who admittedly said in the Fayette News Exchange, we'll get to it here, but he might have ruined his candidacy by complaining about the laundromat. But anyway, right on, Brian Kaminsky will participate in one segment addressing questions from the panel. Acting City Marshal Bo Wells and challenger Brandon Abbott will respond to inquiries. And let's see if there's anybody else who's going to be there. The forum will feature initial questions prepared in advance with additional questions drawn from submissions by audience members. To maintain order and professionalism, no direct exchanges or follow-up questions from the audience will be permitted. Interesting. Candidates running for uncontested seats are also invited to make brief remarks. Light refreshments will be served. Folks, if you want people... I'm trying to be nice. If you were trying to coax me into this event, I would need to know what the light refreshments were. All right. Veggie tray? No. Casey's Pizza? Maybe. Hors d'oeuvres? Still need more information. A charcuterie board? Depends on if I have to share it with everybody in the community. So if somebody was to pop on and tell me what the light refreshments are going to be, if it's water and Rice Krispie treats or Cheez-Its, give me some, Chips and queso from Dose. I'm in. Dr. Stroop advocates for veterinarians at nation's capital. I don't know if you just caught on camera the amount of spit that just flew out of my mouth. But anyway, I'm hanging in there. Howard County veterinarian Dr. Jessica Stroop recently traveled to Washington, D.C., risky, to meet with federal lawmakers and advocate for policies supporting veterinarians and livestock producers. So anyway, she's got a cool picture here with some of the University of Missouri College of Medicine with Congressman Mark Alford down there in Washington, D.C. Let's see what they're advocating for. I don't know, but Dr. Stroop, you should come on here sometime. Or Dr. Payne. Dr. Payne is who works with Henry most of the time, but it'd be fun to talk to the veterinarian clinic here. If you haven't been to the vet in a while since their remodel, it looks really nice. Oh, man. Oh, man. It just goes downhill from there.
I mean, there's plenty on Fayette News Exchange, so.
Yeah, re-elect Mayor Greg Stidham is an ad in the paper. There's lots of road work happening in Howard County. Slow down. Just slow down. And get off your phone. I stopped, and I know that he won't listen to this podcast, so I have no problem saying this. But I stopped a friend of mine who I know is north of 90 years old, completely stopped at the four-way stop on Highway 5 and Davis Street. And I had enough time to roll down my window and say, hey, you're too old to be texting and driving. Listen, if you did not, none of you should be texting and driving, but especially those of you who are probably scrolling Facebook, possibly sharing AI videos or Donald Trump videos, whatever. You should probably not do that from the driver's seat. And I'm just saying it's risky for those of us who grew up with a cell phone to even text and drive, but especially if you're like north of, this might get offensive, 51.
So if you're under 51 texting and driving,
I'm saying it's less risky. All right. There's probably a highway department study about the riskiness of texting and driving relative to age. Kind of like probably there's a higher risk of 20-year-olds smoking weed and driving. But I think, anyway, whatever. I am cruising on 3 hours of sleep, folks. So anything is out here, and this is live and unedited. Multiple agencies conduct emergency training. There is just a hanging dummy here as they do the Howard Electric Cooperative lineman Spencer Durrance. Shout out Spencer, my friend. Performs a simulated pull-top rescue. And then looks like they had a chopper in here from MU Healthcare. So that's cool. They're getting the training they need. It's awesome. Hey, Fayette Falcons are back in the sports section. The Falcons set sights on district title after back-to-back. Why am I What is going on? After back-to-back losing seasons, the 2026 Fayette Falcon baseball team sets its hope on finishing above 500 for the first time since 2023, but also wants to make a run in the district playoffs. Coach Andy Oath returns for his 5th year as the Falcons head coach. He finished 6-17 a year ago. What is wrong with me? Oh my gosh. Hampered by an 11-game losing streak in the first half of the season, which included 3 games that were decided by 2 or fewer runs. So looks like you've actually got a full roster out to play some ball, which is great. And excited to see how they do as they get going. The schedule is posted here. It looks like the first home game is against Higbee on March 21st at 12 p.m. At New Franklin, March 23rd. I got a couple of home games there, end of March, beginning of April too. So go visit and watch. I believe they play at Central Methodist home field. State medalist thrower Vroman signs with UCM. Carter Vroman signed his commitment to throw javelin next year at the University of Central Missouri. Congrats to you. That is exciting, and that is a Division II school that is good at athletics. So congrats, Carter. The random notice in here, the city of Fayette will accept sealed bids on approximately 70 acres of hay to be mowed and removed from DC Rogers Lake on a 3-year lease. So if you want more information, check that out in the paper. Ambulance District pushes for tax change. Howard County Ambulance District Director Frank Flashpoller makes a pitch for a change to sales tax method of funding during public Q&A Saturday morning. Howard County Ambulance District is asking voters to approve a 1% sales tax in exchange for a 50% reduction in property taxes to fund expanded emergency services. The proposal will appear on April 7th ballot as Ambulance District property tax relief. District Director Frank Flashpoller presented details of the proposal during a sparsely attended morning, citing a sharp rise in emergency calls. The district responded to 1,058 calls in 22, 1,308 25, and they're projected to exceed 1,500 this year. Currently, the district operates with 1 full-time crew and 1 on-call crew. The growing volume means the district needs a second crew stationed in-house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, he asserts. Every crew also needs at least 1 paramedic who can deliver advanced life support. Currently, the district employs 4 paramedics. Flashpoller said staffing 2 full on-site crew 24 hours a day, 7 days a week would require 8 paramedics. Raising patient transport rates would not generate the needed funds, Flashpoller said, because approximately 75% of calls are covered by Medicare or Medicaid, which pay fixed government reimbursement rates substantially lower than the amount billed. The proposed 1% sales tax is estimated to generate about $760,000 under the plan. Property tax would be reduced by half that amount, roughly $380,000. The idea, Flashpoller explained, is to spread out the tax burden to visitors and college students and also poor people who don't own property here. So 20 districts around the state are asking for similar proposals this year. So everybody else is doing it. Adding a 1% sales tax would push the sales tax rate past 10% for a large portion of Fayette. Current tax rate is already at 9.22 inside CID. The following is the exact ballot language. I'm glad he posted this because I wanted to see this. But the following is the exact ballot language. Shall the Howard County Ambulance District annually reduce the total property tax levy on properties within the district by imposing a sales tax of 1% for the purpose of providing revenues for the operation of the Howard County Ambulance Tax District, with such property tax reduction to be determined annually in amount equal to 50% of the previous year's revenue collected from the sales tax, and be further authorized to impose a use tax in amount equal to such sales tax, provided that if the sales tax is reduced or raised by voter approval, the local tax rate should be reduced or raised by the same action. It's like these attorneys learned how to write the longest sentences when they put things on the ballot. That wasn't a shot at Frank. I'm just saying some sort of polling attorney had to do this. The district has reported budget deficits in 24 and 25, largely due to increased salaries and benefits after beginning partial second crew coverage and rising insurance costs. Voters approved a property tax hike in 2022 that went into effect in 23. Flashpoller also addressed the district's recent purchase of nearby property for a future station expansion. The board wants to construct a new ambulance base However, they need district approval if they're going to do that. So I have noticed the messaging around building their new base has lowered, and now it's all about educating people on the cost of the ambulance, which I understand. I know they, in one of the graphics made, that there did show a property or that showed a budget deficit. When I looked at the state reports, I don't know if like the budgets have to like equal zero, but it did not look like there was a budget deficit when I pulled up the actual like if you just Googled the Howard County Ambulance District annual budget, you can pull those up online. And I did not see any deficit in there. I might have missed something though. So if somebody knows something I don't on that, let me know. But and I'm not saying anybody's lying. I'm just confused on what it says on the online of of their budget that they report back versus what was made in the graphic, which was showing like multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars loss. So just trying to clarify that. So anyway, that's the Fayette Advertiser. Haven't heard from Cassie Joe. I'm assuming she is raising babies as she should be, because that's more important than this, just to be super honest. But here we go, on to the Fayette News Exchange, sorting by new posts. Let's see, Lois Wood Stevens says, just got through reading the Fayette Advertiser for the week. Wow, super happy. Fayette Police, City Council, and Sheriff came together to do something about the guy trapping cats. That is great. I'm glad we came together and did that. Jody Geralt said, are you having a yard sale during Fayette's 2026 spring citywide yard sales? Comment your address below where you're going to have your garage sale. It looks like there is a people-made garage sale coming up here in the spring on May 2nd. Fayette Together posted Save the Date. Looks like there's a documentary about a tragic event that happened in Jasper, Texas that they're going to, I don't know if they're going to watch it or maybe just discuss it. Oh, they're going to view the film together and participate in meaningful conversation about justice, reconciliation, and community. April 11th, 11:30. You know why I got 3 hours of sleep last night? All I could think about was how many ChatGPT graphics are being made. Calling all artists, you all are invited to the 25th Annual Fayette Art Show on August 1st, which is the Festival of the Arts, which used to be an ice cream competition. Fun fact, I think it used to be called the Fayette Freeze-Off. And if you look at this graphic posted by Becky Galloway, there's a little ice cream logo in there. So I do think it would be cool to have an ice cream making competition at the risk of one of you making better ice cream than what we make at Henry's Hometown Ice Cream. So, but anyway, 25th Annual Fayette Art Show, August 1st. That is usually blazing hot. Great day for ice cream and really just a fun day in Fayette. Stop it. Another ChatGPT. Fayette Area Community Theater presents Dessert and Letters on March 20th, 21st, 22nd. The O'Neills posted, I'm legitimately crying because I'm so tired. And I can't do these ChatGPT graphics anymore. Michael O'Neill said, shared his wife's post, Brenna. That's cute. Anyone need cloth diapers? I found more from my baby. I'm not roasting you guys. I'm sorry. Found more from baby years. Anyway, they got cloth diapers and a bunch of things they want to give away. So if you need some of those, they got some. Chara, Jessica, I'm looking for someone who is taking an old barn down. And looks like there are some people, Novi Folan is taking a barn down. If somebody wants to take a barn or a shed down for me, let me know. Keaton Head has firewood. Let him know. If you didn't see it, this week's episode of my podcast where I interview people had Brandon Abbott on, is running for a city marshal against Bo Wells. A few people said I should have Bo Wells on, and I just want to let you guys know that well before the episode with Brandon, he has been invited on, and we are working on getting him on. That was no oversight. I think Bo's just a busy guy. So I need to say this very nicely to all of you and me, by the way, who might find yourselves to be very political. And on top of that, I mean nationally political, like you side with what we call the left or the right. Because right now, something that I think that's interesting is happening in politics that we just have amnesia of 2020 through 2024. Okay. But lots of people on the right, I don't even like doing that. There's a lot of, no, I don't even like talking about this. But anyway, I just want to say to you very kindly, not that your voice doesn't matter, But the only thing achieved by arguing over big national left-right politics in a town like this is that you hate your neighbors more. Nobody's listening to you on the big stage of the left and the right. They've made it clear they don't give a rip what any of us think as the people, okay? Including this war, including COVID. Again, please don't forget about that. I will say the best case scenario here. Lots of you heard Pam Bondi talk about how the Dow is up 50,000 in response to refusing to answer any questions. And like Kash Patel's like, there's no incriminating evidence of pedophilia in the Epstein files. That aged like milk. The best case scenario is that all these guys have guns to their heads. That's the most hopeful situation, is that you would hope that people aren't just so naturally evil that like they're only worried about losing their job if they don't cover up a lie. I want to encourage you and this doesn't sound encouraging, but my encouragement to you is when you guys find yourself arguing over Big Bad Trump and Sleepy Joe, you're only creating division among yourselves. You are literally not improving the cause that you think you're a part of. So all that to say, Carrie Stroman said, I heard a rumor that Dr. Hope Tinker is running for office. I haven't seen anything official. Blah, blah, blah. And the comments I don't mean to disrespect you, Carrie. Short story, Carrie thinks Dr. Tinker is great, which is great. Thanks for saying nice things about a human. That's great. Ruthie Espenshee came in here with a nice comment, said she knows that people don't always agree, but still has respect for you and your opinion. And then things got spicy where somebody goes, Republican or Democrat, does she know what a woman is? And that really got people going. Which that argument is like 3 years old, but it's still fair in a sense, right? Like if you have trouble answering that question, it's just, but again, we feel like we're like 3 or 4 years old on this argument. All of this is really annoying because like, I don't think Hope Tinker asked for any of this. Hope Tinker's just running for office. Hey, Hope Tinker.
I say have her on.
Come on in. All right. Listen, I interviewed Heather Overstreet. I'm happy to talk to Hope Tinker. I'm happy to talk about, I've been saying I've been happy to have Brian Comiskey on and talk about his mayoral write-in ballot campaign. But all that to say, I was discouraged by much of the hate that was in here. And by the way, the only positive in these comment sections is that all of you don't want to see each other now in this small town, which by the way, I would ask that if you are like not in this town at all, or don't care about this town at all, maybe don't come in here and antagonize this town. I don't know. That's just my opinion. All that to say, I would love a more unified community. Speaking of unified communities, Heather Overstreet posted a video saying, alert, woke state rep candidate Howard and Cooper County. And that also upset a lot of people. Heather is very talented at upsetting people. I think she would agree with that, probably. And I mean, no smoke to you on that, Heather. I think you know exactly what you are doing. And you at least said she is, I don't know how you know Hope. I don't know literally if Heather knows Hope at all. So Heather can probably clean me up. But she said Hope is a kooky lady. I'm glad she lives in a free country so she can be a kook for all to see. I hope that Heather knows something to be able to say that. Because if you don't, it just sounds like super MAGA Trump. We're just picking on the other side, like 4-year-old argument. But anyway, I don't know. I'm finding myself now. I mean, I guess I'm like an independent Thomas Massey guy. I don't know. Well, I just want to emphasize that lots of you in these comment sections, I care a lot about you. You live in this community, most of you. And most of the time, here's a good comment from Cindy Dudenhofer. Is this news? ? Thank you. Thank you. That's good. Get back to somebody trap the cats. All right. I'm happy that somebody from our area wants to run for political office. That's great. We want that involvement. I don't know anything about Hope Tinker. Hope Tinker, if you want to come on and talk about your political agenda, we're happy to talk about that. Same thing to Tim Taylor, if you want to talk about those things. I just think overall, this, in my opinion, and maybe I just have this way different sector of the news that I consume, it feels like I'm so done with left and right. This stuff is so exhausting. Of neocons and crazy left. All right. We literally don't know anything about Hope Tinker.
Yeah.
Unless like
I think some people have been doing digging, like she's like involved in like the
protest.
Yeah, and like so like some people are like, well, those are her values. And I'm like, yeah, but like again, that's not the same thing.
I mean, here we go. I'm just gonna Google Hope Tinker. And Heather, if you know something about her, sure, go for it. There cannot be that much information on her. A doctor. She's got a Facebook page. She studied at Wash U. She's not a fan of this war. Me neither.
Yeah, who is? Anybody like
there is a fair amount of people that are for this war. And it sets a precedent that if I think that you might attack me, I will attack. No, if I think that my friend might attack. No. If I think that you might. No, hold on. If I think that my friend is going to attack you because he thinks that you're going to attack him, instead of stopping my friend, I have to attack you. Okay, got it. And as I scroll through her Facebook, she has made her opinions clear. So at least Hope has at least put stuff out, so she can't be mad if people are seeing what her positions are. She's very, don't give our tax money to Department of Homeland Security. Demand no money for the cruel, chaotic, illegal ICE.
See, I'm not with that, but
I'm not fully with that. But again, just to not, you know what? Here's something that Heather understands that I won't. Nobody gets popular from like being in the middle and being unsure and trying to tell the truth and trying to get it right. Nobody gets popular from doing that. You only get popular from being really extreme, really rude, or really vocal. But I'll say, like, I don't agree with the ICE take from Hope Tinker, but I did not like what was going on in Minneapolis. But I think a lot of people had to be woken up to the reality of the severe reaction to the severe problem of border control issues that I think most Americans could agree on. But again, I'm saying all that, and if you have like a visceral reaction to me talking about that, just remember, like, we live in the same community. I am not against you, and for me to like have a different opinion on ICE does not mean that like I need to be destroyed and that we can't live in this community together. In fact, I think that's the thing that's killing us. The thing that would be great is if we keep talking to each other in more respectful ways. But the internet is not a place for respect. It's not. It's a place to be right. Oh yeah, I've got to get to this. We had some laundromat drama. Yes, there's a laundromat in town for those of you who are wondering, and then people criticized it. So Austin Ivy hopped on here and said, I want to make a note that I'm not the owner of the laundromat. I simply help manage it. And he said, unfortunately, the reality of running the laundromat has included a constant battle of vandalism and damage. Yeah, as somebody who runs a businesses that people can enter, walk through, and use facilities, and you can barely do that in either of my businesses. Just the disregard for other people's property is pretty wild, including like off my back deck here with the Henry's patio. The amount of cigarette butts that have like been thrown off my cars parked back here is really annoying. Anyway, machines are constantly being broken by people. Parts are torn off. Paper towel holders stolen. Toilet paper holders stolen. Toilet paper holders? More like, I mean, toilet paper I get, but the holders? Cameras knocked down. Tables broken in half. What is going? Is this a Buffalo Bills pregame? I mean, good Lord. Every time this happened, it cost a significant amount of money. I can't imagine the margins on a laundromat business. I'm sure Gene and Lee, Gene, if you're watching this, I'm sure you can inform everybody that you're not rolling in dough off of the laundromat. Also, folks, as many of you are aware, the utilities to keep any of these old buildings running is asinine. Specifically, the one that Gene and Lee are in is insane how much it costs to keep those fueled. So anyway, Austin says, we want the laundromat to be a reliable and affordable place for the community, but it takes respect from everyone using it to keep it that way. To those who do use the property and help keep it clean, thank you. Your support does not go unnoticed. So somebody did. Chris Felton had there's lots of stuff in the news exchange. We're going long here, folks. Thanks for buckling in.
We have 40 minutes in.
40 minutes. It's because my in-laws are coming in. I might be stalling. So I'm just kidding. I love my in-laws. If it was mine, I'd run it like a 24-hour gym, put an app-based lock on the front door. This log who enters what times keeps out non-customers and air down, and hopefully eliminate vandalism. You could also run it on a membership basis, so much per month, and offset it with free washes at lower prices. Members generate steady cash flow and are like gift cards. We all forget about them. If you're having this much trouble, it's time to look at options. I don't feel like that's a bad, that's not an aggressive suggestion. It's a great suggestion. And so much so that it got 46 likes. Sounds to me like there needs to be an attendant working there. Somebody said, I'm going to tell you right now, no way somebody can afford an attendant to be there. No way. Do we have any comments? We got any hate mail or comments? Let me go look at our last episode.
Dude, yeah, honestly,
I did have Trailer Parks comment on our last Fayette Nom. He did not like my ideas of taxpayer dollars going to perpetually fund a private newspaper, which I agreed. I'm not like a super fan of that. I'm curious. Like, I don't know if you can ever have truly independent journalism, right? If it's funded by something. Like, funding has to come from somewhere, right? The Fayette Advertiser is funded by subscriber money and funded by advertiser money. Therefore, there is, you could argue, a bias towards, I'm only going to report for the people that give me money, and I'm not going to report their competitors and things like that. So when I was talking about possibly using taxpayer dollars, that seems to me like the most neutral way to get our money funding the news that we want, except for, he's probably right, it's going to be oversought by a governmental committee, which you could argue could be elected by the people. But I would probably agree with him that I think that it would be hard to make that completely neutral. But I don't know what you can do in this world that is completely unbiased if it's fueled by any sort of money, because the money comes from somewhere, right? Socket sponsors this show. But you know what I'm not going to do out of respect?
Socket doesn't sponsor.
Not Socket. Thank you. Sorry. Airlink sponsors this show. You know what I'm not going to do out of respect for Casey? Do like a 20-minute episode on how great Socket is. And that therefore makes me biased.
That's fair.
Okay. That doesn't make it wrong. Like, people act like there is something wrong with like incentives. And the sooner you just admit that everybody has incentives and that doesn't make them necessarily wrong, like that they have self-interest in the thing that they say and they do, the sooner you can get over that, the sooner you can realize half the time, the beautiful thing about capitalism is self-interest typically benefits self-interest of others, right? You buy a product you need, it solves your problems, it pays the person who sells it to you. What? You okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm fine.
What happened? You distracted me.
I'm sorry. I'm playing chess and I made a bad move. I was waiting to drop this information at the best moment possible.
Idiot. Anyway, he didn't like that idea. He agreed with me that the use of the fact that the CID bought downtown Fayette a Polaris to water plants and be a parade buggy taxpayer funded is crazy. Which I agree with. Anyway, Trailer Parks, which I assume is Jeff Parks. I don't know, allegedly. But Trailer Parks with a long comment here with lots of decent information. So I can't tell. I was again, as I couldn't sleep last night, I was like, I can't tell if this dude is being completely sarcastic with me and cooking me. Like his last line, he said, now I can skip years of counseling. I'm equipped with what do you hear me saying? I'm like, is he cooking me for that comment? But again, like that, funny. I just want, everybody is talking to me about this ambulance tax. Like, so I heard you hate the ambulance, which it doesn't happen that much, but I'm just like, no. What am I saying? What am I saying? So anyway. Sean Pridgeon said, did you just end your podcast with O Canada? Sean, have you ever made it through the end of this show?
Yeah, I was about.
Have you ever made it all the way through the end of this show? All right.